While Stripe does not disclose their procedures for approving accounts and rejecting accounts, in our experience with working with over 200 entrepreneurs, we have discovered that these are the main reasons why people get banned on Stripe. Number one, people usually use fake details to open a Stripe account. If you're looking to get a Stripe account, you want to follow the legal and correct procedures for getting a Stripe account, which includes registering your company, getting an EIN number, getting a US phone number, and submitting your legal details, including your passport and one form of identification. If you don't follow these procedures and if you submit documents that are incorrect or are forged, once Stripe flags that, your account will get banned, and that includes whatever bank account that you link to your Stripe account, which means if you use that bank account in the future, you're most likely also going to get flagged again. It's very important that when you open your Stripe account, you follow the direct procedures and you use legitimate documents. The second reason why people usually get banned on Stripe is because their website does not follow the Stripe procedures and policies. If you go over to the Stripe website, you'll see where they mention a list of things that your website must have in order to be approved by Stripe. Now, when you apply for a Stripe account, you might see an option where they say you can put in a social media handle. We do not recommend using a social media handle because many times our social media may not meet the criteria. Again, I mentioned that Stripe does not disclose their full procedure for approving accounts, and in order to stand the best chance of getting approved, you want to use a website. So if you don't have a website, you want to start considering building, even if it's a one-page website. And I'll put a link to Stripe's page where they list out what every website should have in order to be considered for a Stripe account. You want to make sure that you check through that list and make sure that every single thing there, you have it on your website before you start your application. The next thing that makes people get banned is unusual business activity. So this is in the sense that you start a business and you register for Stripe, and during your application you say that you sell ebooks online, and then suddenly Stripe starts to notice that people are buying something from a Shopify store. Now, while you're able to sell whatever you want under the same company, you want to make sure that if you're running two different businesses that do not sell similar things, you want to open a duplicate Stripe account. Stripe actually allows you to open multiple accounts, but in each account you want to explain the business activity that will be happening in that particular account. Now, the LLC on the back end and the EIN will be the same, but the business activity is what is going to be different. This way, Stripe is aware of what kind of transactions to expect. For example, if you say you're selling ebooks and suddenly they are receiving $10,000 payments in one go, it means that you're not actually selling ebooks and something else is happening. So you want to make sure that you're very consistent with what kind of business proceedings that you're carrying out and what kind of charges that you're incurring in your Stripe account. The next reason why people get banned is because Stripe does not support their business type or business activity. Now, as much as we hate to say this, Stripe does not support everybody. In an ideal world, it will, and everybody will have access to Stripe the way any business can, but certain businesses are regulated, restricted, or outright banned. So you want to make sure that you go through Stripe's list of supported businesses and ensure that your business does not fall under the unsupported business category. Now, it may seem unfair, but at the moment, Stripe does not support certain business types. So you want to make sure that your business is not one of those, so that you don't waste your time setting up a company, registering the company, getting an EIN, spending so much money and time only to apply for a Stripe account and you get banned. However, if you find out that your company is one of the unsupported businesses and you still go through with it, always keep in mind that there might be a chance that your account can get banned at any time. And we highly recommend that in that case, you want to make sure that you withdraw your money as quickly as possible to reduce the risk of losing your money, as long as you're doing a legitimate business. That is the assumption. The next thing that makes Stripe ban accounts is a high number of disputes. One of our clients actually went through this, and it was not their fault in any way. And this particular client was selling a particular product, and someone stole a credit card and used it to purchase the product multiple times, and then did chargebacks. And then when the owner of the account found out, they did chargebacks to the card, which raised disputes inside of the Stripe account. Now, the problem with that is that if you have a lot of disputes on your account, Stripe starts to mark your account as a high risk account. So that what that does for you is that Stripe starts to monitor your activity, and sometimes they might send you a message saying that your account activity has been restricted, and they may also reduce the number of payouts that you get. So for example, if you set your payouts to be daily, then they might start sending your payouts every other day or every 2 days, and some in extreme cases I have seen them hold money up to a week. So you want to make sure that when you're doing business, you make your refund policy very clear. You try as much as possible to reduce disputes. As a business owner, it's almost impossible to get 0% disputes because there are actually horrible people on the internet. But you want to do everything in your power to make sure that your account is in good standing with Stripe. Because once you pass a certain threshold for disputes, Stripe is definitely banning your account. Another thing is that you want to turn on what is called Stripe Radar. So what that does, even though it comes as an additional 0.5% charge, it helps to track down fraudulent cards or fraudulent activity and stop it before the transaction actually goes through. That way, if someone is trying to steal another person's card to purchase your product, Stripe will block it before the transaction goes through, and that way you don't have to deal with disputes, because disputes cost you an extra $15 per dispute. And in addition to that, Stripe does not return the fees that they charge you when you process payments. So as much as possible, you want to reduce the number of disputes inside of your account. And one other reason why Stripe bans accounts is due to unusual activity. At least that's what they call it. So the reason for this unusual activity is sometimes when a client is trying to create a transaction, many of us are guilty of this in the sense that we use password managers that store our credit card information. We use Chrome, LastPass, or 1Password, and we use that to store our credit card information. What happens then is that when the person is putting in the information, they just copy and paste the card details. So Stripe is able to detect that they didn't type out the details, and that makes Stripe mark the transaction as slightly risky, because that is what a scammer will do. However, that is also what a normal person will do. So if you're getting a large number of charges that are made from copy-pasted cards and the amounts are high and they seem unusual, Stripe will start to suspect your account and may blacklist your account. Another reason why Stripe bans accounts is due to sudden increase in sales volume. We always recommend to our clients, especially if you're in the middle of a launch or you start selling a high ticket program, to do one of two things. Number one, either you go over to Stripe support and let them know that you're expecting higher volume payments moving forward, or at least for the foreseeable future. So that way they are aware that you're expecting higher levels of payments. So if you normally charge $100 and you then start charging, you create a new service or you create a new product for $5,000 or $7,000 or $10,000, and then you don't let Stripe know, and suddenly you go from receiving $100 in payments to $10,000 in payments, Stripe is going to flag the transaction because it seems like somebody is trying to steal money. So you want to make sure that they are aware when you have high volume of payments coming through. The second thing we recommend to our clients is that if you were charging little and you want to increase how much you charge, that you request that you create payment plans for your clients. So rather than taking one upfront payment of $10,000, you can break that into 4 and space it into every 2 days or every 3 days. So you can say 4 payments of $2,500, and that will go out every week or something like that. That way, rather than a bulk sum of $10,000, it will come in 4 payments, and it will reduce the risk of your account getting flagged for usual activity or high volume of payments or fraudulent activity. So those are the reasons why people get banned on Stripe. There is always one reason, which is no reason at all. I have actually seen this happen, which is where for no reason Stripe will ban an account. This is rather unfortunate, and sometimes if you reach out to support and explain your case and submit documents, you might stand a chance of getting reaccepted, but in many cases there is never that option. So if you get banned by Stripe and you know for a fact that you didn't do anything, and as painful as it is, I recommend that you don't take it too much to heart and you try finding other options for payment processors for your business. because sometimes Stripe will ban an account without any reason, without any explanation, and no matter what you do, they refuse to reinstate the account. At the end of the day, Stripe is a business and they're trying to protect themselves just the way you're trying to protect themselves, and people fall in the crosshairs during those situations. So which one of these apply to you? If you know anybody that is struggling with Stripe, you want to send them this video. And if you're looking to get a Stripe account yourself and go through the procedure of getting an LLC, EIN, bank account, and eventually a Stripe account, you want to check out our services. We have tailored our services specifically for non-US residents, and it gives you everything you need to get your company up and running in about 3 to 4 weeks. We have very fast services and we promise to give you excellent service. So if you're looking for that, you want to check out our website at alphafilings.com, and I'll see you guys in the next video.